Rahmatullahi barakatuh. We are live. You could talk, no problem. We're gonna keep it easy, simple. It's done. I'm here at Master Chef Sim's house. Sim Bay. He's eating. He's off the channel right now, but he's eating. Him and his two little rugrats are here eating. I decided to test this live thing out on StreamYard because we got this thing, so I figured we'd take advantage and whatnot. Let me just put this out on invite. You know, one thing I wish Sim that Streamlab did at StreamYard is that they made you know how you can share to like YouTube, you can share directly to Twitter right away? Yeah. They should incorporate that into this. Because now I got to go over to my YouTube channel, or actually I can do it from my phone probably. If I went live, and I'll just share it from that way. It's really awkward to have to do that. Hold on, let me just get it out here, kids. I always put it out on Twitter because otherwise nobody knows I'm going live. I have a selective fan base. Hold on here. Okay, share Twitter. I am live. Cooking with Chef Sim. Tune in this random live. All right, cool. So let's get right into it. What did you make, Sim?
And ground beef. Keema
and dal. That is a staple Hyderabadi food?
Yep. Khatti dal.
Khatti dal. What is khatti dal?
You boil
like lentil, right?
Yeah, it's lentils, but then you add a whole lot of stuff like tamarind paste and other sour and spices. Sourness and spices to the mix to give it a different taste.
How did you get started cooking?
I just watched my mom.
No, but I mean, like, did you start cooking as a young kid, or when you first moved out? Like, what happened?
Yeah,
because I never cooked growing up. My mom made everything for me.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I would sneak in the kitchen and make food just from whatever I was reading in books and stuff, and they would give some instructions on how to make it, and I would sneak in the kitchen late at night and make my own food.
And while you were living at home?
No, with my mom.
Oh, I think as a young kid.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I could have been more than 10 or 12, 11.
So you generally enjoyed cooking from a young age?
Yeah.
Do you think like maybe if in a different world you might have become like a master chef, like a Gordon Ramsay?
Maybe, but I have too many interests.
Once you be like Salt Bay. I mean, you got the forearms. You could just do the Salt Bay stuff.
I have too many interests to be stuck on one thing. That's why, like, it's probably beneficial for me to be in IT to fund all my other interests. I don't care about being a master chef or master at anything. And
you like to be a journeyman?
Yeah, I just like to learn everything, and I just like to follow my interests because I know that's how I learn. When I follow my interests and where my mind.
But do you lose interest quick?
I lose interest in things that are just repetitive. They're not making me inspire anything, or not.
Yeah, but I mean, let's say you get really excited about something like cooking. Like, let's say because I feel like sometimes, like, as I know you're a person, like, when you get excited about something, you just go all out. Like, you'll buy the stuff for it, you'll get into it. And then sometimes, like, all of a sudden, you just get turned off.
Yeah.
And like
something else came up.
So you got distracted.
Yeah.
But do you ever come back to do that?
Oh yeah. Like painting and stuff. That's painting.
I never knew you painted.
Yeah.
Like I never even seen you doodle my whole life.
Yeah. There's just so many different interests. I was lucky when I was young that my parents didn't let us play video games for a long time, and they bought a couple games, but they weren't ever, letting us buy whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
And we had to find entertainment in other ways. So we drew a lot. There was a lot of art. But I think that's something that I'm hoping that would actually I'm losing hope in in terms of the new generation, that they don't pursue their passion.
I was thinking about that. You know, like when we were younger, we had to find ways to have fun.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just like hopping on the internet or playing a video game. Like we had to go out and like get in trouble.
Dude, if I didn't have an action figure to play against another action figure, I would use my hands and pretend it was like a guy that's fighting another.
So that kind of explains a natural progression of things.
No, I mean
using your hands, huh?
Using your hands as you're using your imagination.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, the thing is, beyond just using the imagination, though, I guess that's a big part of it. But like going outside, you know, like just, you know, like building a fort, or you know, like getting in the mud, like I don't know, finding a pet frog, or just, you know, looking at a bird's nest outside. Like people, you know,
people don't do that anymore. Like we would die for that snowfall that had 8 to 10 inches.
So we can go up build a snow fort.
Yeah, it can be build a snow fort on two sides, and me and my siblings would be 2 on one side, 2 on the other, and we'd just be throwing snowballs at each other. And you can have everything. You can have the best gloves. You can have all the different things that technology has afforded you, but technology can't give you a will to go out and pursue it.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like these guys, they have everything.
Like I look at like you know, I told you I wanted to go camping right again because we've been in before, but I wanted to just do a quick thing. So I'm looking at some of the new camping devices, right? And camping has become unbelievably easy.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can get a pop-up tent where it just pops up in 30 seconds. You can have heaters and cots that stay above the ground so nothing gets on you. They have like power bank coolers that can stay good for like 48 hours. All that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But yet, like, I don't think that people will still do it because they're just not motivated to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And here's the other thing. Just because something is easy doesn't mean that you're gonna have a better experience. So like, what do I mean by that? Like, watch. Let's take for example Netflix, right? Watching a movie, right? If I wanted to watch a movie, it's so easy for me now just to go to Netflix and then just pop on, just browse around and see what I want to watch, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, nowadays we watch so many movies and we don't even really pay attention to them anymore, right? We're on the phone, we're doing whatever. But back then when we were kids, we had to like find a ride, go to Blockbuster or like Hollywood Video and hope that a movie you wanted was there. If it wasn't there, then you had to go and browse and then read the covers.
And it let us down. We would watch it again, trying to find the beauty in it or find something.
Yeah.
Because you had such high expectations for it, right?
Right.
Even with music, we would spend money on an album and it was so hyped up by everyone, and then you just kind of thought, it didn't resonate with you, right? But you found the beauty and you kept on playing it over, like, oh, okay, I got it. Like,
and I think there was like that part of the effort you put into it.
Yeah.
Right? Like it kind of builds up the experience, right? Because it's kind of, in a lot of ways, half of the fun of something is actually the planning and the hype around it. Yeah. Right? If it's not there, like nowadays, there's no hype around watching a movie. Right? You just want to, let me pop open and just, let me plop on Netflix.
Yeah. What was that new Chris Hemsworth movie on Netflix? It was great.
Yeah, but it just...
when we were kids, that would have been like a blockbuster.
Right. If that would have came out like 10, 15 years ago, like at a theater or whatever it was, it would have been like phenomenal. Yeah, people would have T-shirts already on. It would have been like... people would have been changing their names. I mean, it would have been great, right? But the thing is that it just doesn't happen anymore. I don't know how, you guys feel about that, but I don't know. I mean, we were just talking about how people, there's no motivation anymore for younger people to do things that are necessarily different. Like a lot of times convenience has become too easy. And I guess with the convenience, nobody really puts the effort in anymore. And I guess it loses its significance, if that makes sense. I don't know. But we just had more fun doing things. Like it was funner to go out and play basketball in the park because we had to go out and find. Like we didn't have a basketball hoop at the house. We had to go drive over, ride a bicycle to a park, and then all the drama that came around with riding a bicycle to the park, and then like getting around, and then maybe seeing if you could scrap together some change and buy an ice pop from the local grocery store that was there on the way back. Like stuff like that people don't have, like There's no experience anymore. It's not there. Like and I feel like that there's just been such a disconnect lately, you know? Alaikum assalam, Yusuf Sayyid. Nothing. Sim is actually eating dinner. I just came to hang out. I figured we just do a live thing while just a chat while Sim is eating. I figured we'll just pop it on. He's eating a Hyderabadi dish called keema and naan, and he had some rice earlier. So and dal, khatti dal, which is like a sour kind of lentil mash. Or yeah. But so he's eating. But actually, the reason why I did it, I spun it around because this is kind of like going back to our roots. Like this is why the podcast started. Like we would just be hanging out and just have a conversation about these things, and then somebody had the brilliant idea of like, hey,
people would come just to listen to us argue and
yeah,
other random friends of ours, friends of friends, and just come hang out in our basement and they want to hear us chat. There was one guy who was he was in town from he grew up with us and he came back in town and he was like, man, I miss this. Like he just said he was sitting with us, hearing us talk about all kinds of different things, and he was like, this is what I miss. Like I can't believe I left.
Yeah. I mean that's an experience. Like I tell people all the time, like if you ask me what an ideal life is, like see, growing up younger, I was crazy. I did a lot of things, right? You know me, I was always out doing things. But my ideal night right now is hanging out with people that I'm close to and having a good conversation.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to be outside at a coffee shop or, at some fancy schmancy restaurants with ambiance. I don't care about that. I'd rather just I enjoy the casual setting. Yeah. Like right here, like this is what about the noise in the background, the kids around, the family, like that was part of the conversation, right? Like stuff was going on, and that sparked other thing. Like we would have a random conversation about something that randomly happened around us. Like I just saw Romain say, like, just rub your head when you're sweating, and like, oh, why does Sim sweat so much when he eats? Like,
I made spicy food.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I didn't put the camera on Sim, because when he eats, it's just like he gets into a sweat ball. Like, you know what it looks like? You guys ever remember Michael Jordan in the '90s? We played basketball, his balls had to be running in his sweat. It's like a cold drink on a hot day. That's what Sim's head looks like when he's eating food, and it's just like it's the most awkward thing, but you kind of get used to it. But anyways, what happened to Team M last night? We don't know what happened to Team M last night. We believe that
internet problems. We're thinking some line that's outside the house or something related to the equipment. Something's malfunctioning, and we're replacing equipment right now and seeing if we can fix it. We're putting together the broken pieces of the episode together, so it's combining now, and it's.
But did the actual recording? I thought we had the whole recording on Audacity.
Yeah, the recording is good.
Okay.
The recording is good, but the live stream, it's all like broken up.
So
I just pulled it all down because it's like broken up to 3-4 different clips.
Oh, it kept restarting.
Yeah. Kept trying to reestablish connection.
But what I'm saying is, when we were recording, was the video recorded in full length too while we were recording on the computer, or was just the audio?
The computer's fine. Yeah. The hard drive, whatever's saved over there, the back.
So I didn't know if you record the video on hard drive as well too. I thought you just record the audio on hard drive.
Just video.
Video too?
Video and audio.
Oh, awesome. So we could just upload it as a okay. Yeah, so that's what happened last night. Unfortunately, we had some internet issues, and it still actually wasn't resolved today. So we're trying to figure out.
We're replacing some.
Yeah, but do you think the upload will fail because of that?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna fail.
That's why.
So you're gonna process it there and then bring it back here and then upload on a thumbstick or something?
Yep.
Oh.
And then upload it.
What we should have done, if you had half a brain, we could have. If I remembered it, I could have just put my Wi-Fi on my pen on the phone, the hotspot, and just went from that one.
Yeah.
It probably would have been slower.
Yeah.
But it would have solved the issue.
Yeah, but who knows how long it takes though.
Yeah.
To upload it because.
No. I'm saying during the stream.
Oh. Yeah,
right.
that's like.
It probably been like 480p, but it would have been like. But probably better now that we just upload the regular episode in HD quality. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I had someone reach out to me today to talk about how to start a podcast, and I was thinking about a lot of things, and I was like, man, there are a lot of people out there.
Everyone's got a podcast now.
Who?
Everyone's got a podcast.
Yeah, but the problem is everyone starts a podcast, but nobody finishes it. What I mean by finished is like they might have a pilot episode. They might have this and they might have that. And so you know what? I was actually talking to Mahi. This is kind of cool though. I bet you like more than me probably you get it more. So many people reach out to you to actually start a show, right? And I bet you give advice to like hundreds of people, and some do it, but they do like a couple episodes and they stop.
Yeah.
Right. And like it almost becomes like people think it's easier than it is to create content.
Yeah.
And it's not that easy. And I think there's a certain ability you have to be a certain comfort level in front of the camera as well too to be able to come up with topics and be able just to have a conversation. People aren't able to do that as efficiently. Like they have this grand idea, like, oh, I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna like this. I'm gonna have this person. It's gonna go viral in a couple of days. But that's not how it works. Yeah. Like you have to genuinely love talking about what you talk about. And I think my advice to people who are starting off is, if you don't feel confident in yourself alone to go viral by yourself, don't start a podcast. Don't depend on a guest to think that he's gonna be your jackpot guest. Yeah. And then you're gonna go viral.
One of the things that we're lucky is that we have this relationship, me and you and the other guys, is that we have this close relationship where we can have this kind of banter, where even if one person is struggling, you can someone else can take on the weight, you know?
Yeah.
But when you're a solo guy,
that's hard.
It's really hard.
I remember when I first started doing Muzzy Buzz, some guy commented and goes, "Hey, you're better off with a team. Oh, you shouldn't be alone." I'm like, all right, cool, bro. Thanks for your feedback. You know, I mean, I personally don't care because I don't do it for people. I do it for myself. Right? I mean, like, I look at this. And I told the guy on the phone too. I'm like, hey, you know what? At the very least, if you enjoy creating content, at the very least, it'll be your memoirs later on in life. Like, you have content where you talked about stuff that was important to you, right?
It's like open space, open mic, man.
Right, and for me, like, this is a documentary about my life, about what I talk, how I felt. I can look back at this 10 years from now and be like, wow, what did I think about this 10 years ago? Did my mind change? Did my thought change?
Yeah.
Did I grow as a person? Yeah. You know, I mean, I look at pictures of myself like 10 years ago and I'm like, wow, what a dummy I was. I look at stuff that I posted like 10 years ago on a blog. Like when I was busy arguing about Aqidah with like the Ash'ara and like the Athari, and like, I'm like, what a stupid person I was. But I kept that stuff, right? Just because it shows me whether I grow or not. So I would advise anybody out there, if you aren't confident in yourself and you don't feel like if you don't feel confident enough to say that you believe that your product or your story or your capabilities are enough to captivate an audience, then don't start a podcast. Because there's going to be a lot of times where you don't have anyone to come on your show. You may have a boring guest. I mean, how many times have we had a boring guest in where we had to actually pick up the pace, right? And we had to make it entertaining.
You gotta do the heavy lifting.
Yeah, and that's just kind of what it is. What's up, boys in the cave? We got boys in the cave here. We give estimates how to start a podcast all the time. Sometimes it's important to focus on the why. Yeah, exactly. Like that's why I say I think everybody who's starting a podcast should have a episode 0 where you talk about yourself and the listener gets to know who you are and why they should listen to you, right? Because they get caught up in thinking like, you know what, that we're gonna create this thing, right? That we're gonna create this thing and we're gonna have this phenomenal guest and we're gonna go viral and we're gonna blow up and we're gonna get 100 million views and I'm gonna monetize in a week and like they think that it's that easy, right?
Well, it's different too. There's many different mechanisms that are in play when you're trying to build an audience. Some people can build it really fast. Some people have that ability.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But I'll say this much: people who build that fast, they generally have built off their own personality.
Like how fast did Muhammad Hijab build it?
Yeah. What's the guy? Life of SQ. Yeah. He came boom out of nowhere and then he just blew up, right? And I think it's because of the energy he brings.
Sajid Lippum.
Yeah.
He brings his white privilege. He's a very knowledgeable person.
Yeah. No, but one thing is everybody has that energy that they bring, right? And if you don't have that energy, but a lot of those guys who blew up, they didn't rely on other people. Yeah. Right? People were genuinely invested in their persona, right? In their personality. And that's what I'm trying to say, right? Like if you're gonna be out there, be confident in yourself that you are a presenter, that you are of value, you have worth. Yeah. Right? That's what my suggestion would be to anybody.
But at the end of the day, you can't ever blame your audience for not liking you. If you are not building an audience quick enough, it's because of you. It's the ultimate measure of you. And it sucks that likes, follows, and stuff are that measurement. But, and I'm not saying that that's your measurement as your value of life, but in terms of your creative ability, that's your measurement.
Yeah.
And yeah, people who go beyond that and to some poisonous levels where they start getting suicidal when they don't get the followers they want and the likes that they get that they're expecting to get.
But didn't we kind of go through that as a team? I mean, we went through some growing pains. We're like, man, how come we haven't got the views that we wanted?
Yeah, and there were legitimate things about it, and I think majority of it is because we have long episodes. When it's short episodes, 15 minutes or shorter, you're going to get a lot more people listening, and that's just the sad truth of it all.
Let's do something fun. I'm gonna ask you a couple of. I'm gonna throw out some random things to you. You give me the first thought.
Okay.
Ice cream.
Mango.
Anyways.
High school.
Football? I don't know. That's what I played there.
I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. You
Yeah.
just. Let's see what else. I'm gonna say movies.
Movies? My favorite is Blade Runner.
That was Game of
That's not a movie. That's a TV show. We don't talk about that TV show.
Okay. Soft drink.
Coke Vanilla Zero. I don't know if the international people have that in their countries, but Coke Zero is legit. But I think Coke Zero is in UK now.
Is it?
But I don't know if Vanilla Zero is there.
I started getting it on Pepsi Max because of Amir. Hey, dude, it's right here.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah, I don't know. But okay, so let's go on. HT.
I don't know.
Okay. Naqshbandis.
Oh, I want
First time. There's no right or wrong.
about the dance. Some Sufi dancing. Sufi dance.
You think Conehead?
Conehead. Green Conehead. It's because of you. That's where you took me to when we were kids.
You can't hold back, bro. It's got to be the first. I know you were thinking Conehead. You don't want to say it because you were holding back. Let's see. Next thing. Saudi Arabia.
MBS.
Ooh. Out of everything, you forgot Kaaba, Masjid al-Nabawi. You just
I think about the tyrants first of every country.
okay.
They're
All right.
cheating me.
And then the final one. Children.
I love them. I'd love to have more. That's it.
What do you think if Baba has more kids?
I would smack
Yeah.
The more the merrier. I love kids, man.
Yeah. I remember when you were little, you never, because that was a time period where your dad was at home and you never left his side. You were the only one that was like that because he was home at that time. The other two were always with your mom, but you were all with him in the basement. So you never left, like you were always there. Like you would fall asleep. Yeah. I remember that. Like constant. Like how that cat was, that's how she was.
Yeah.
Like always around. Yeah. Alaikum assalam Mustafa Amr. How you doing? Almost sahi. Yeah, I don't know. We're just doing a random thing. I don't know. Anything else you want to share about podcasting?
Podcasting?
Or anything else? I have nothing. I'm just random right now.
Ask the people in the audience and ask them if they heard the HT episode.
Yeah, and you guys hear the HT episode? What's your feedback on the HT?
What's their favorite? What would be their favorite country to be the first caliphate?
Wait, what would be the favorite what?
What would be the ideal country to be the
oh, right. Okay, so let me
we're debating that on the show, and I wish we got to talk about it a little bit more.
So let me ask you this in the text right now in the comments. Put it down below here in the comments. What would be if the Khilafah were to return? What would be the ideal country?
And what would be the worst country?
And what would be the worst country for it to come in?
But the worst countries.
The worst country, America, for the Khilafah to come back in?
It's the most powerful.
It's the worst.
No, but what if
Donald Trump is leading us.
Okay. Well, let's imagine that it's a Muslim country. Okay, let's keep it to Muslim.
Okay, so Yusuf says that either Turkey or Pakistan. See, the problem, Turkey I can see, but the problem with Pakistan is like they just don't have the infrastructure. Like it's severely, I mean, Pakistan is ideal because of the poverty rate, so
Yeah.
it's ripe for revolution.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have the infrastructure it needs. Sure, it's a nuclear power. They have military capability, absolutely, right? Their military is pretty strong for the size of the army of the country. But I just don't feel like that they have developed their shipping, their ports, and internally, and I know, but there's a lot of internal strife, like between Balochis and like that area, and like there's the whole thing going on that they have to first internally resolve. Oh wow! So Yusuf says that the worst place would be China for a Khilafah to come back.
No, let's keep it to Muslim countries.
Okay. So what would be the worst Muslim country for a Khilafah to come back in? If I had, I don't know what I would say. I don't know.
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan? Why? Afghanistan almost had a Khilafah.
Yeah, that's so weak.
Yeah, but but they were able to hold their ground. I mean, Afghanistan were able to be in the face of Russia and America. But I mean, but maybe perhaps I wouldn't say it's the worst, but I mean, there's definitely lacking in economy and stuff like that. But I think the worst Muslim country for a Khilafah to return in, Azerbaijan, because like they're so secular and they don't really care about much. Like Azerbaijan is just like
I got the best.
Well, the best country to start
Best
off.
Muslim country. But no, I'm saying the worst Muslim country.
Oh.
The Maldives.
Is it a Muslim country?
Yeah, Maldives are a Muslim country. They're these islands right off of India.
Yeah, I know what the Maldives is,
Bro,
but
the
I'm
Maldives
saying
are gonna sink.
Oh, within a couple of years. No, yeah, I heard about that.
The entire country is gonna be sick.
Why are you laughing about that?
Imagine
the flag is going down.
Imagine you finally get the Khilafah in the Maldives, and the Maldives start sinking. You worked so hard. It was finally here. People had fireworks.
Every year they take a
They
picture
were
of
making baklava on the streets.
Yeah, you know how when people think they're sinking, they kind of measure every year. Imagine every year you see the flag staff of the black flag like lowering into everything.
Yeah, there's got to be a flag carrier, right? Because in battles, that's what the guy has to do.
True.
And who's going to be carrying that flag that's going to be sinking?
Yeah.
Imagine that, dude. It's like a slow death for that guy. Because every year that water is like going up his ankles, and now it's like creeping up to his knee. And sooner or later, he's going to be like neck deep. He's like, it's my time now.
Yeah. No, but okay, but I mean, to be honest, like, Maldives is pretty bad. But I mean, I honestly, I was thinking about this. If a Khilafah potentially came back, I think that it would you'll find a lot of Muslim countries enlisting the fight against it.
Oh, maybe. Depending on how much of a threat it is to them and their existence, right? At the end of the day, nobody wants to go to war unless it's threatening their existence.
Well, that's the thing. Like, a Khilafah would definitely threaten a monarchy or a grip on power, right? So, Omar, you said Iran. Well, see, I differ on that. I think Iran, if you can make them Sunnis, it would be a powerhouse. It's strategic. They've been self-reliant for a long time. They have natural resources. They have a pretty decent-sized military.
If you get those ayatollahs out, you're fine. Because there's a sizable Sunni population in Iran that you could definitely have.
Iran is about 30% Sunni.
Yeah. And some people say that those numbers are suppressed. That those numbers should be higher. Some people say it could be as high as 45% Sunnis. Yeah.
I mean, I think Iran could. I mean, isn't there a hadith about coming out of Khorasan anyways? Like something?
No, that's what the Jews coming from the Isfahan.
No, it's Fahan, but I'm saying there will be an army coming to Khorasan as well too.
That's it. Khorasan is Afghanistan.
Khorasan is Central Asia.
Yeah, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, that area, that whole area right beyond Iran.
Yeah, bro, right above Iran.
Right up at the edge of Iran, and there might be some parts of Iran.
Yeah, like Mashhad.
We're talking about in general. Majority of Khorasan is Afghanistan and the surrounding areas.
I remember when the Taliban was in power. Like at the time, they were thinking like this may be that army. And people started talking about Ghazwat al-Hind, all that stuff, right? But I don't know.
You want some teamwork?
Yeah, sure. Okay, Amir said, I did honestly. Mazen seems to be level-headed and growing up. HT always hit hit a bad rap or had a bad rap for being useless. But as I got older, I think they're sincere in trying their best. Allah Adam. Okay. I think it will be from. I'm gonna go ahead and say that I think it will be from the offset. It can be a country enclosed by the colonization implementation, either censored by Western agendas or puppet regimes. Well, that could be it. You know, I don't know. What up, Maheen? Maheen's in the house. I don't know if you have a moment you want to jump on, you can jump on the live and let me know, Maheen. I'll text it to you. I'm just at Sim's house. He was cooking, and so we tried just to jump on. So if you want to jump on from your phone, or he's in the back right now. He's just cooking, like he's just doing cleaning. So I didn't put it on him because he sweats when he eats. You know that, Maheen.
Yeah, I don't like to be watched when I eat.
Yeah, Oh, speaking of watching when you're eating, you know what the most horrible thing is in the world? When you go to a Desi wedding and the videographer filmed everyone while eating, I hate that. They have this big spotlight, and you'll be putting right when they're putting you have your mouth wide open, the guy puts the camera on you. Why would they do that? Like, what is attractive about watching somebody eat food? It's like, I think Desi should be credited with the first mukbang video. We started that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, really, mukbang started out of these Desi videographers. I bet you they could pull out archives from like the 80s and be like mukbang from the 80s and make a bunch of money on it. Ooh. A mukbang?
A bunch of white people.
Oh, they are? Oh, well. All right, cool. Mahi wants the link. Let me see if I can get the link here. Hold on here. Copy the clipboard. Hold on, Mahi. Just get in the WhatsApp. I'm on my channel. Muzzy Buzz. I have my own channel.
Oh, type it in. I want to see the live stream.
Hold on, I'm getting Mahi the link right now.
Oh, you're already in here.
Okay, where's Mahi? Oh, so apparently we were with Humam last night. We went to Brooklyn Pizza, and me and Mahi were talking, and it was a pretty interesting conversation. I'll let Mahi jump on and we'll kick it off. But yeah.
Humam's a cool cat. For those who don't know, Humam has a good Facebook page. His family is very prominent in Minnesota. They're in various sciences like psychology and stuff. He's a commentator on Facebook. He's a younger dude, like in his mid-20s or whatever, maybe late 20s. But he brings a good perspective, an Adobe perspective, a conservative Islam.
Aside from that, though, I think he's a young kid that has a good head on his shoulder.
Yeah, he's very mature. Like many times you talk to guys his age,
and they're stupid.
Yeah, they're just stupid. They're just
they're dumb.
So it's like bruh.
Wallah, bro, Allah.
Wallah from Ramallah, bro.
Wallah from Ramallah.
Yeah, I don't know how the audio, guys. Like, I just want to make sure the audio is good because I'm using the speakers from the computer, so I want to make sure the audio. How was the audio in the live stream?
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you perfect.
Really? Okay.
Did you hear the audio in the live stream, Maheen? Was it okay?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I was just speaking of the devil. I was talking to Humam just now, like on Zoom.
You were talking to who?
I was talking to Humam just now on Zoom.
You just probably send him a link too. Go ahead, take it.
He was what was he saying? He was talking about what equipment he should get, and I told him he should start with like audio only. But I was looking at is that our bait, like people, man, like listen. Some of y'all are in the get a stone age and like listen to use podcast apps, right? People would rather like listen to a YouTube video, like in their car while they're driving, And you have to deal with like podcasts. You don't got to deal with ads. It'll remember where you started, where you left off, and it's free. The apps are free, and you can set your phone to like not do auto download if you're worried about space, right? Yeah. You can just stream because everyone now's got unlimited data, right? Pretty much. I don't know if any service, if you have a smartphone, that like you're like worried about you got to be a Jew about data.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
True.
So I just know I'm still a proponent of like I feel like podcast apps are still like haven't hit critical mass yet. I told them like also video is the problem with video is yeah, I don't know why you can't see me.
I can see you. Be good.
No, I'm like it's the way I'm gonna have to adjust myself.
You know what? Maybe I could do this. This might be better.
That's
good.
better.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, you can see it now. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, kid. How about now? I think it's good now. Man. Oh, look, we got a surprise.
Yo, what's going on? What's up?
Oh, let's interview this one.
Hey, do you want to like say something?
Let's interview you.
Okay. First of all,
does she speak fluent yet or no?
She's fluent, yeah. So like just you have to repeat. 'Cause I got my headphones on. She won't be able to hear you. So
no, that's okay.
why don't you ask the question and I'll like ask for her.
Do you love Baba?
She doesn't call me Baba.
Oh, what she call you? What a Bengali say for dad?
Hey, well, what's my name? Could you hear that?
Yeah, it was too soft. What she said, Abu?
Abu, yep. Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
All
so
right.
what did Abu buy you for Eid?
What did Abu buy you anything for Eid? Did Abu get you anything for Eid? Did he? I didn't get her anything. Okay. Where are you going tomorrow? You're going to school tomorrow? Okay. Yeah. So we're not like on that topic. We are like not we are not keeping our kids at home. They're going to school.
They're going to school?
I mean, physically, not remote. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow. You hear that, Sim? His kids are going to school. You're brave, bro.
Nah, we're just lazy.
I wouldn't. And I'm not as paranoid as many people about this.
Yeah.
But schools are like a cesspool for
kids are dirty, bro. Like kids are dirty as hell.
Right. Yeah.
Don't you guys have elderly?
Wait. I'm surprised that your school district is even opening.
I mean, it's Quran blossoms and like it's mass. It's Ikhwan. So basically,
you have to go to the Islamic school, right?
Islamic school, yeah. They're like, yani the qadr Allah ma shafa.
Tawakkal Allah, yani.
Yeah.
They don't have to work from school or.
Yeah.
Okay, ask her. Are you excited to go back to school?
She's never. No, this is her first time to go to school.
She doesn't.
She's super excited. So this is her first year. She's 3.
Oh,
She's gonna go to pre-K. So she's starting off school in the COVID era.
Yeah. So check this out, Mahi. I was telling the Sim. I had a call with a guy today who wanted to start a podcast. I mean, I was giving him some advice.
Did you charge him?
Huh?
Did you charge him?
Nah, I should have. I was thinking about your model though, man. I was thinking about $4 a minute, bro. I was thinking like, bro.
Yo, we gotta start charging these fools, man. This is like free advice. Like Humam's my boy, right?
Yeah, but you know what? It's not about the money from you. You know what it is? I was telling Sim too. I like your idea. We're talking about how we mentioned it that it should be about productivity. Like I don't want to waste my time helping somebody who's just not going to really follow through on it. If they're going to follow, if I could know that we're going to follow through, I wouldn't charge them, right? But at least when you put a monetary amount on it, it means there's some level of commitment, right? That you're serious about doing something.
Mm-hmm.
You get my point? Like it kind of roots out the people that are not that serious.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I would.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's exact. I wouldn't charge for a minute. I would. This is what I would do. Shut up. I would be like 20 minutes free. If it's 20 minutes free, if you go beyond 20 minutes, they're gonna charge you. And I'm frozen, by the way.
Sounds like one of those adult hotlines.
I'm back. Yeah, I'm back.
1-900.
Yeah, 1-900. Oh, next thing you know, Mahi has a 1-900 number. You know, no, but I mean that. I think what it is, Sim, is like if it's free, people feel like they can take advantage of it.
That's what upsets me is that there is plenty of free material out there online. You just have to take the initiative and start Googling stuff. And on YouTube, there's like a million guides on how to do it. Mahin found a guide and he followed that guide and he figured it out. He didn't
Mahi,
have to-
what would you say is the biggest thing if your advice to someone starting a podcast from ground zero? What would the like? You can only give them one piece of advice because this is free. We're not charging them right now. So one free piece of advice. What would you say to them?
I guess the question, like, so I would be like, why do you want to start a podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, answer that question. But also, I think people need to be self-reflective. Is that some of these cats that want to start a podcast, they are so boring. Like, if your personality sucks, don't start a podcast.
I don't want to mention the person that we're talking about, but there's one guy. I don't know how he gets a podcast, and he's so boring. It's so cringe. I haven't even heard one full episode, and I don't know how people got survive. And he had, I think, for the longest time, he was like a #1 Muslim podcast for a while until we kind of came around. But the content was so crappy. It was just so bad. Like I wouldn't even listen to it. Like if it was the only thing let's say I had a channel and the internet was broken, I was the only thing that was broadcasting, I still wouldn't listen to it.
I mean, I think I know what you're talking about, but like sometimes what would be painful about that would be he would get these good guests. Yeah. And it would and sometimes the guests would carry the show and you could like still get something out of the show. Mm-hmm. But it's like if you have a host that doesn't know that's like completely screwed up, it can completely it's like a waste of time in a way. Yeah. You're still taking down the overall guest in a way. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
So when I was talking to the guy, I think it kind of falls in line with what you were saying. But what I said to him was, if you can't carry a podcast by yourself and you're expecting to have, because he told me about his guest lineup he has already, right, in the next month, and he was really excited. So
is he a Muslim dude?
Yeah, a Muslim guy. So
it's another Muslim podcast.
Well, that's the whole thing. Hold on. I gave him advice. I'll tell you about that in a second. Right. But I felt like he was under the impression that, you know what, that I got these guests and these guests are going to be great. It's going to put me on the map, right? Like with these guests. And so that immediately told me from our learning experience, I said, listen, if you don't feel confident enough in yourself, like to invest in yourself to, to actually put content out there and feel like you're worth it for other people to hear, you shouldn't be doing it, right? Like, and I told him, what you should do is make a pilot, like a episode 0, and tell the world your story, because your story is going to be the most interesting story because it's yours, right? Like, you know the details, like you feel that your passion's behind it. If there's no passion in it and you're relying on somebody else to carry and make you famous, then you're in the wrong business. Like, it's not going to work that way. And how many times did we try to wait for that one power knocker episode, a banger, right? And the one that we thought was gonna be a banger ended up being a flop, right? Like, no one even cared about it, to be honest, right? You know what I mean? Like, but that was my thing. Like, invest in yourself, dude. Brand yourself. You should be confident and say, yeah, I am the shit. Like, people want to hear me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the guy that I have something to offer. If you don't feel that way, don't start one. That's how I feel about it.
I want to know, what's this angle gonna be? My frustration these days is that, like, when we started, there were very few Muslim podcasts. Now it's like there are so many, and some of them are so redundant. Like, you don't need, like, I think it's saturated, but like, I'm like, if you have a different unique angle, that'd be different. But like, what's this individual's angle? What's he thinking about?
I don't want to give too much about what he's doing because I didn't get permission to talk about it. But I mean, it's kind of like the North American experience, but kind of though like from a different lens where it's like it's kind of more artistic-y, like rather than just than just like typical like scholar and bringing an interview format. It's kind of like produced. Like, he doesn't want to do a long format, like 40 minutes top. And I told him that's great. I think the longer podcasts are too long sometimes. People don't listen to that kind of stuff. You need to be condensed and like simple. Especially, I said leave the long stuff for when you have a dedicated following. You go live, they can interact with you. That's cool then, right? You just leave it up. Like right now, I don't care how long we go because it's really about the people we're interacting with right now, right? The conversation, right? I just leave up the content for the content. But actual produced episode, I don't think it should be more than 45 minutes. But what I told him was this. I said, listen, think about if you want to just be a Muslim, thank you. For being a Muslim podcast, or do you want to be a Muslim a content creator who happens to be Muslim? Because for me, I feel like if you just make yourself a Muslim podcast, you're limiting yourself to one niche and to what you can say and what you can do, right? Why not have a variety show, like, your life, build around your personality, your experiences in life through the lens and the perspective of a Muslim who's in the Western world, right? And you can do anything because he's like a director of an art gallery, like stuff like that. You know what I mean? That is interesting to somebody. You know what I mean? Like, he is from a country where they had to leave as refugees. They were part of the Civil War. His father was a political activist. Like, that kind of stuff. That's interesting. You build a brand around that, right? Those things shape your life. Those stories are interesting for people. You get what I'm saying? So I told them there's plenty of Muslim shows that are plentiful, right? And I don't think that's why I don't specifically brand myself as a Muslim podcast, because it's just me. It's my experience. Like, you're gonna get my Muzzy Buzz opinion about stuff, right? It's just what it is. A buzz, because I'm giving you a little buzz of what I think, right? And that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. If an individual, if their only card, right, their only like card is that they're a Muslim, and they have to go, then I don't think they're interested enough to have a podcast, right? We were talking about somebody else, for example. He's an expert on the Second Amendment, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that kind of stuff. So
yeah, exactly.
That would be a niche, and the fact that he's Muslim is just like that's just part of who he is. I mean, obviously, when he has conversation, that comes up, but it's not the force, So then that way you don't do a Muslim podcast. Like, for me, I'm very particular. I don't even say salams on my podcast unless they like really are like.
You're religious. We know that you're a muqtadi, so we already know that. Bro. You know
yeah, I'm like, we don't give salams to the innovators.
But what I'm saying is but that's what I'm talking about. Like, see, it's okay to have a goal. Say, hey, look, one of my goals is to outreach for Muslims, right, or to be a voice. That's cool to have that goal, but you can do it without always having to say that, right? Your dominance and your presence, like on a social media platform, is sometimes enough to give other Muslims confidence, and you can always give your perspective as a Muslim on something without always implying that it's because of Islam. You get my point? Like, like this Second Amendment guy we're talking about, dude. That would be far more interesting than the stuff he puts out, dude. He's a Second Amendment guy with guns and weapons, and he's in a competition, and he's out there, doing that kind of stuff. It's phenomenal. It's great. You know what I mean? I think that way. I mean, I think you're 100% right. There's more than enough. Hey, let me ask you. You guys are younger people. I'm gonna ask Sim's daughter something. Do you guys watch Muslim content on YouTube, or you guys do? But do you guys watch shows or just people who are Muslims? So you don't really Google like Muslim podcast. You just follow stuff that a Muslim, like, gamer, or you might something in fashion. Or something. Yeah, see, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, these young people are not worried about the fact that it's a show about Islam. It's about the fact that the creator is a Muslim. It kind of gives up. I could be that. I could be that way. Or it's someone that looks like me that's as a public figure. You get what I'm saying? That the relationship or like the identity, I guess, relating to that individual.
Yeah. Hey, Mort, check your WhatsApp.
Hold on, let me see. I didn't even know. I mute all my WhatsApp groups, so I don't even know.
I just sent you a DM.
Okay, well, go ahead, forward the link.
Did you guys
okay.
That link?
Cool.
Let me forward you the link. Tim, you want to jump on the link?
I have the link, right? Same link, right?
Yeah, Sim's gonna be
on
and jump on too. Huh? Yeah. Okay. I said my phone got to you. You know, we're in the same fucking room.
You're in the same room.
Behind me.
What are y'all eating?
Well, he was eating like rice and quinoa. I already ate. I was just here hanging out. I was actually gonna meet him at the studio. We went to the studio. We like, hey, I'm just gonna go home because we got internet problems. So I just came over here to kick it. And I was like, this is the. And I was telling people earlier, Maheen, this is how the Mad movie started. We were just kicking it, talking about stuff. And like the chaos behind, like even the kids being around, the family being around, everything. That's what sparked our conversation. It was organic like that. right? And like this is just like a literally like an OG podcast. This is how we started off. Like, you know, this is what gave
Yeah.
the birth of the Mad Mamluks. You know,
Mm.
wow, what is you dancing for us?
Yeah, like basically my kids are haramis.
No, it's all good. No.
You know,
But
they teach the kuffar. Yeah, they have like this is what they learned in Islamic schools.
No, inshallah, they won't be. You know, I think it's a hadith about raising like two daughters that are good. Like you're gonna, they might be a Jannah, bro. You know, we know you're a big harami, so they might be your ticket. You know,
Unless they become like the future chairs of fitna, future like heads. Hey, stop fighting and close the door.
do they ever fight?
Yeah, what happened? Yeah, they were fighting just now.
No, but did they get like a physical fight like boys do?
No, not that kind of fight. No, not really. The baby, she hits somebody. Come here. You want to come? Come here.
Wait, that's the youngest one?
Yeah. Yeah. He's eating a date.
Wow,
He's
look at
eating a
that
date.
one.
This is following the sunnah. Yes.
Ah, hello.
She.
I would say hello.
Yeah. Yeah. She knows a few words and just like yapping.
So what is your wife working right now? Are you home with the kids?
No. She's my wife's at home. She's on call.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, she's on call until like Friday. So
All right,
that's why it's good we didn't have to record today officially like in person because yeah.
Oh,
are we getting feedback?
is that feedback?
Let me.
Ooh.
Ew, yikes.
Yeah, we got feedback. Okay, I'm mute. Okay. I unmuted you. Okay, yeah. That's better. Okay, we got.
Hey,
There's
Islam.
Tanzania. Salam alaikum.
Well, Islam, how's it going?
What time is it
Can
over
you
there?
hear
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear you. Yeah.
Give me a sec.
You see, my daughter's doing a whirling dervish. It looks like a whirling dervish, right?
MashaAllah, she's at Ahl Tasawwuf already. You know, make sure your ex-Madkhali brothers don't see that. They're gonna say, yeah. So Sim, can you hear now, or I mean, I think you might be all right. I don't know. Wow, this is the cool thing about StreamYard. We could just kind of throw out a link randomly, and people could just jump on and jump off, and it won't kill like the stream. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
It's kind of like the hangout in COVID times.
But can't you doesn't Zoom the same thing though? Can't Zoom does the same thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I can't broadcast in multiple formats. I have to do a bunch of different things to do that. I'm broadcasting to everybody.
Right now you're on YouTube, and Tanzim just got kicked off, did he?
Huh?
Tanzim got kicked off?
I think he probably got disconnected. Maybe he's just restarting it or something.
Yeah.
Is his name Tanzim or Tanzim?
I don't even know.
I call him Tanzim. Like Tanzim Islamia.
I don't know. I think it's like a
How about Tanny?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Let's call him Tanny.
Sim's audio is better.
Can you hear me?
All right.
He's back. All
T-A-N-N-Y.
right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Assalamu alaikum.
Tanzim,
Cycle.
well, how do you feel about your name being?
I'm gonna put my
Tanny.
headphones on, so it'll be easier.
Bro, I have different nicknames throughout my years. Tarzan's, Invader Zim,
What about Timmy? You look like a Timmy.
I lost Tan.
What is your mom? How do you pronounce the name the right way?
Like
How?
like
What's the
Arabic is
Bangla
like
pronunciation?
I call you Tanzim.
Tanjim. Tanjim is the Bengali way.
Tanjim.
The Z becomes a J.
Was your dad like a Tanzimi guy, like Tanzim Islamia?
Nah, like I think some random uncle named me when I was in the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
So they just absolutely winged my name. But it is what
Hey,
it is.
let me ask you guys something.
That's how I pledge my allegiance to Tanzim Islami.
Wait, is this true? I heard that sometimes when Bengalis get married, like in order to name the kid, they just open up the random mushaf and like just point to a word, like that becomes the kid's name. It's like someone told me that before. Is that
it?
true? I don't know.
I
I'm
have no
asking you.
idea.
I've heard that. I've heard similar stuff.
I heard some people, flip through the Quran and they just point at whatever word that they put their finger landed on, and that ends up being the kid's name. So if it's like Jahannam, they end up naming the kid Jahannam.
I heard somebody accidentally named somebody Zania because they
What if it's like Abu Lahab? Tabbat yada.
or like Iblis.
yeah. I mean, it could be, it's crazy.
I mean, they probably have enough sense to like. Cause I've never met an Iblis, but like even my name Maheen, like Maheen means like you. I remember the first time it became an
Is that
issue.
a girl's name?
No, Maheen is like despicable, right?
I mean, like disgusting,
Disgusting, like debased,
disgrace.
right?
Like yeah.
Some girl will.
So it was like my when I first met Sheikh Yasser Burjas, he was like, "Your name is Maheen. Like, you need to change your name." And then like I told my mom, and she's like, "Listen, if he wants to pay for an akika for you, then by all means go for it." You know, but like it was just like I started going by kunya. My original kunya was Abu Sumaya.
Yeah. But does it mean something in Bangla? Or
Did you have a Dakna Maheen?
No, I don't have a dakna. Maheen is my only name.
Bro. I have a Dakna.
Yeah, but is Maheen like something? Is that a meaning in Bangla?
No, it's Farsi. So Farsi, it's reflection of the moon.
Oh, okay.
So that's why that's the meaning. If people ask me about it, but like I pronounce my name Maheen, like especially when I interact with the kuffar and stuff, they like that's how they pronounce it, and that's how I always pronounced it.
Got it.
You know,
It's like me. Like with the kuffar, it's like Tanzim, and then with my
Tanzim.
family, it's like Dunjim.
I've been calling you Tanzim. Right? It's just
Bro, I remember the first time I met Mohammed Gilan because he came down to Sydney.
Yeah.
And I introduced him like, "Hey, my name is Tanzim." He's like, "What kind of name is that?" And then I'm like, "All right." Because he's like Arabic speaker. I'm like, "Oh no, it's Tanzim." And he's like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah." What an encounter."
So
First
check this
time.
out. I knew this one family where like the father was obsessed with like Lawrence of Arabia. So he straight up named one of the kids Lawrence. Like that was his name. Lawrence. So they all had like Arabic names, but his name was Lawrence. And it was just the weirdest thing because they're like, "How did you get the name Lawrence?" He's like, "Oh, my dad, he loved Lawrence of Arabia, so he called me Lawrence."
And it's a Muslim dude.
He's a Muslim guy. Yeah. It
He's
wasn't
like basically like he named his kid after someone who like was partially involved in the taking out of the Khilafah.
right. So there's like Ibrahim, all these names, Muhammad, and also Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Yeah, it's like, "Oh, it's my son Lawrence." It's Ibrahim, Muhammad, Musa, Lawrence. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Josh because his name dad is just like, "Oh yeah, I like the name Josh. It's a white name." But his Josh's brother's name's Imran, so it's like random.
Wow. So did he think he was
Josh and then Imran.
I'm not gonna lie.
Josh is not his daknam. It's a real name.
It's his real name. Yeah.
Dude, I'm not gonna
Joshua.
lie.
Not
If
Joshua technically, but yeah.
If I was Joshua or Josh and I grew up, I would have thought that I was adopted. Like if you told me, "Hey, my brother's name is Imran and my name is Joshua," I'm like, "Yo, where did you guys find me? Like, what's my story?" Like, I would, am I Jewish? Like, I would have been like, "Yo, what happened?" You know?
No, you know Bengali. They got these like other the girls have these funny daknams like Mishti. Like
Bro, I was having this chat with my friend. Like, Bengali name Russell is so prominent, but it's like such a white name. Have you had that, Maheen? Like a lot of Bengalis named Russell.
Russell? Like
Russell. Yeah, Russell.
Like
Yeah.
Russell Peters?
A lot of Bengalis, but it's like such a white name. I'm like, how?
Russell. It's RASUL, but it became Russell.
Wait, so is it Russell or Rasul?
No, like Russell.
They pronounce it. Yeah, it's pronounced it Russell.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
wow.
and
I don't think they're trying to mean Rasul. Yeah, I don't think they're.
No, I don't think
that.
so. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like one of Sheikh Mujib's youngest son was named Russell.
Oh, wow.
Rahmatullah alayh.
Rahmatullah alayh. Yeah, I know.
They took him out in the coup.
Oh,
Even
really?
the kid, yeah. So like, I was telling Tanzim like last week, I was in Ohio, right? And I met up with one of the future guests of mine. He's used to be my boss. He's half Punjabi, half Bangladeshi. Like his dad's Bangladeshi, and he's gonna talk about how the 71 war like split his family up. And
okay.
And then on top of that, like one of because his dad was like a diplomat, right? So he lived all over there. He was in Iran, Algeria, etc. So apparently, like, yo, what are you doing, kid? She comes into my hats.
Yeah. She knows how you're supposed to dress. That's why.
All right, let me start this on real quick.
At least she's matching. She
Yeah.
knows the colors, man.
Yeah. So basically yeah, but the other Kickstarter is like so Sheikh Mujib was the first president of Bangladesh. He was the president or prime minister, right?
Is that Sheikha's father?
Yeah.
Sheikh Hasina's father, right? So he was like the founding father. He's like the founding father of Bangladesh, and they did a coup on him in '75, I think it was. The army kind of went into his house and like killed everybody in his family.
Yeah,
right?
I went to the house. Have you been to the house, the museum?
No, I haven't. It's a museum
I've been
now?
there. Yeah, they got the gunshots on the wall. I'm just like, dope.
Really?
Yeah.
So my former bosses, one of his dad's I think his bodyguards was one of the assassins.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty crazy.
And he's been in exile, I think in Iran or somewhere I forget, for like 40 years because you can't go back. There's a really good book called Bangladesh Legacy of Blood that I read like 15 years ago. And it talks about how like the first 10 years, it was just coup after coup after
I knew
coup.
a couple Bengalis that want to be part of Pakistan. Like they were pissed off that they left Pakistan. I don't know how that. I know it's a very touchy subject.
That's Mahim.
But I know Bengali in the UK. But I know there's other Bengali brother in the UK. He's like, yeah, the biggest mistake was that they left Pakistan. Like it should have been East Pakistan, should have been part of it. But I don't want to get involved in that conversation because I don't know nothing about it.
Like again, like without me trolling here, I think it is Bengalis are different people. Right.
Yeah.
And I think they were but I think the other problem is that they were being persecuted for their language. Right. And the straw that broke the camel's back was so Sheikh Mujib, he
Look, your language does sound kind of funny.
But like
Someone has to tell them. Someone's got to tell them. We're just ignoring it.
So Sheikh Mujib, right? He won the general election of all of Pakistan to be the prime minister of Pakistan in like 1969 or 70, right? He won the election, and then because he was Bangladeshi, they they did something. They put him in jail, I think, right? And that's when the war started because they were like, "Yo, our guy won, and now y'all don't want to recognize it. So bump this. We're just gonna split off."
And there's a lot of context to it because like with the politics, like Pakistan were exploiting a lot of the resources of Bangladesh. So they'll like try to get all their crops and stuff for cheap, take it over to Pakistan, and it wasn't like a split. But yeah, so there was like a lot of reasons why they didn't want that to happen, like Sheikh Mujib to come into power.
Yeah, I mean, if it's about the language, I mean, that's even continuing today. Like you got Punjabi, Sindhi, Balochi, Sikho, Pathans. Like, I mean, but I just want to say this here. And I know this might offend some people, but the Hyderabadis actually created Pakistan. Like they donated the first budget for Pakistan. Without the money that we gave them, there would be no Pakistan. And I think that's just you gotta accept that.
Tanzan, what are you eating there, bro?
I'm eating rice with potatoes and eggs.
Potatoes?
Yeah.
Like, is it made like traditional style?
Yeah, like the curry version of potatoes.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, not white people potatoes.
Yeah, white people potatoes is horrible.
Unless it's French fries.
I do like the skillet potatoes. They're pretty good. The skillet with like
every time you guys go on live, because it's 1:30 here in the afternoon. I'm always having lunch. So like once because 1 o'clock is roughly a Jumma. Like sometimes Kieran would go live and I see on my phone. I'm on like second row of the Jumma khutbah and I just like tune in.
You should just make me the khatib there. I'll just put my phone on.
Put a live stream the masjid screen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So hey, what do you think about that comedian guy? I wasn't offended by that guy. The guy that made the joke about Christ
You
Church.
weren't offended.
No, I mean we make fun of things all the time. I mean people. I mean look. I mean it's meant to be offended. I mean offensive. It's joke. It's comedy. Right? Like if you don't want to be offended, don't watch comedy.
Well, no, you're not explaining it right, Morty. That his whole shtick is making offensive comedy. He's not like some Islamophobe. His intent is not to hurt Muslim people's feelings and sentiment. He's just trying to find. That's his stick. I'm not saying that's
Comedy. I know. I get that.
It's not meant to hurt people's feelings.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is all of us are familiar with shock comedy. Shock comedy is not something like that's out of the ordinary. It's all over the place, right? We see shock comedy in memes, on Twitter, on Facebook, on everywhere, YouTube. We see it, right? But I think people are. I don't think it's the first time people have seen this guy. Apparently, this guy even came out before, and he went to New Zealand and he talked about this stuff. Like he even called out people in Australia for allowing this guy to get guns and go over there. Like it was just, so I don't see why they're trying to like cancel.
Yeah. He's condemned Muslim, the white supremacists and stuff. He when after the whole Christchurch thing, he went live on his own channel and he condemned in the strongest possible terms. Everything related to that and how sad he was listening to that. But I mean, am I a fan of that type of comedy? Do I find laughter in other people's tragedy? No, I don't. But that's his thing. He's not an Islamophobe. Is all I'm saying.
What do you think, the Oz boy? What do you think, Ozzy boy?
He's offended.
I feel like people that go down the route of like defending, like I think as Muslims anyway, like that what he said specifically was like completely wrong and like it's belittling like the lives of those who died, right? Reducing them to essentially a monolith, right? Like being like taxi cab drivers or whatever. So I think like in that sense it's definitely wrong. And like if he's gonna laugh at everyone, like I don't see like the value in that in of itself. So I feel like people that kind of justify his actions on the basis of he does it to everyone, it's not really valid because like the whole framework in of itself, I don't agree with that kind of comedy in of itself, right? Like
that's a genre though. That's part of what did.
I'm gonna jump off real quick. I'm gonna go. I gotta go. I'm starving. I don't get some dinner. I might come back on. I might bring it up.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I look at it like this.
Yeah, Shabab.
No, but I mean, look at it like this. Like, I watched the roast on Comedy Central, and there's no whole bars, and people just go all in about everything. They talk about people dying from diabetes, the Holocaust, World War II, 9/11. Yeah, everything. They talk about everything. And for me, I watch that kind of comedy, and I think it's specifically that it's just comedy. It's just about getting a laugh. It's not about actually trying to offend people. And I think that, yes, I can see why somebody would be offended if they don't know the context behind why it was shown. Like if they thought, you know what, if it, I said this yesterday, like if it was that guy who makes a career out of like that guy with the puppet, Ahmed the terrorist, and that's all he does all day long, yeah, I would say that guy is an Islamophobe and it's stupid, it's dumb, it's redundant. But that's not all this guy does, right? It's just kind of one joke out of a series of jokes, and this guy has made fun of 9/11 victims, he's made fun of 7/7 victims, he's made fun of a lot of people, and some people find a healing in humor, right? Like that's how they cope with stuff. And it's just how they get over it. Like they joke about race. Like Dave Chappelle talks about that, how he just, he copes with racism by humor, right? Like that's just how it happens, right? You just make a mockery of it. And in a way, like maybe that's what his angle was. I don't know.
And I think one of the most important takeaways is that just understanding that style of comedy doesn't make you racist. It can make you may think it's horrible comedy. It's something that's not your cup of tea, and something that it's horrible and atrocious. But to call him an Islamophobe, to call him all the different types of horrible things that some people have been tweeting at him on Twitter, I'm not for that. I don't think that's the Islamic way, the Muslim way of approach to someone who doesn't seem like he's a terrible guy. He seemed like he's a very nice guy, actually. When you look at his other videos and stuff, it's just that's the philosophy of an ultimate. He follows this philosophy of ultimate free speech, where you don't put any restrictions on free speech. Everything should go or nothing should go, and there should be no council or commissions that are outlining what is acceptable as free speech in society or not. And this is something that it's difficult for Muslims to understand, because this can backfire on Muslims if they support it, as people will start insulting the Prophet ﷺ, and they can go that route. So
Yeah,
it's
isn't
something
that the issue
difficult.
though? Like,
Yeah,
wouldn't that
it is
like when
definitely the issue. And if he that's an interesting question. Like, if that comedian made fun of the Prophet ﷺ, well, how should we feel about it? I mean, that's something that, of course, as Muslims, at least for me, I would feel very upset, very hurt by it. But at the end of the day, I don't think he should be killed up for it, or any kind of violent action should be taken against him. I just think that that's not a smart thing for him to do, just for his own personal safety. Because while he may not hurt me or Mort or Tanzim in the way where he's eliciting a violent response, there are a lot of ignorant people in the world who may take some kind of action against him. And that's why that's not a smart thing to do in that regard. But I don't know how you guys feel about it. I know it's something I've given a lot of thought, but
Well,
like
I look at it like this,
if
bro.
you
Like,
if you
okay,
if you like
go ahead.
kind of go down that route of, like, I guess, I don't know, belittling everyone's like struggles or certain things that they kind of hold dear to them, like, aren't you going to desensitize the whole idea of what it means to be I don't know, like, just having values, or your identity? Like, if you just kind of open the doors of having a laugh about everything, like, that's like the main issue.
I
Like,
agree
it
with
would
you in
be
that regard. I'll totally agree with you in that regard, that you're desensitizing sensitive issues. There should be things that are regarded as sacred and holy, or the things that just might be sensitive to others. But y- just recently, Ari Shafir went on a tirade after Kobe passed away in his helicopter crash, and he went on in front of Kobe's old stadium where he used to play at, and he said Kobe's a rapist and all this horrible things. But you know, and he got killed for it on Twitter. People were just storming his timeline and saying that he's a garbage human being and things like that. But Ari was trying to demonstrate this freedom of speech in the probably the worst possible way, right after someone dies. There's no respect given, no consideration given to the person who just passed away, the family that passed, because his daughter also passed away at that time. And yeah, I mean, he had to end up shutting down his Twitter. There are consequences related to that. I mean, these guys, they feel like they want to be the torchbearers of the First Amendment, and they're going to they're going to suffer for that. I mean, in terms of public backlash, public will always have the sentiment of respect and tragedy and some kind of reverence to things that are holy, sacred, time-honored traditions that are related to humanity. But to call him an Islamophobe, to do the kind of things that some people are saying against him. I know some Muslims were like, advocating some kind of sexual abuse against his children and stuff like that. And this is like completely un-Islamic, and that's not something that we.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing too. Like, look, let's just say recently in this stream, right, we made a light joke about, like, the Maldives being a khilafah and a flag dropping down, right? Some people might take that like, offensively, and be like, "Oh my God, what a horrible joke you made about the khilafah is serious, right?" Like, I mean, I'm sure that she wouldn't take too kind to you making a joke about the flag bearer just drowning with the flag in his hand, right? So what's offensive to people, right? I mean, everything could be potentially. I mean, I get what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. I completely empathize with people in the fact that they could be offended by it, and they should be. I mean, but for me, I guess me being brought up in America and the world and growing up with comedy, I don't think that his intent. I look at the intention behind somebody, right?
Yeah.
Like if someone says, "Hey, you know what? What would you say if someone said your prophet was a pedophile, right?" Versus someone said, "Hey, you believe in a pedophile, you stupid idiot," right? Like there's a difference in that, right? Like there's something between the way he's just being, like the intention of these two people are different. This guy's intention is not to offend all Muslims. He's just cracking a joke about a sensitive situation, but that's what comedians do. They want people to be like, "Oh, damn, he just didn't do that. Oh my God!" Like it's like shock value, right? Like I mean, all of us watch these things about prank videos and all these things, like people, gold diggers getting caught and all that kind of stuff. It's all sensitive stuff to people, but I mean, that's the kind of culture that we see. So that's why I'm not offended by it, because I understand that's the genre. That's what it is. Now,
But to clarify, just because he's saying that he's not offended by it doesn't mean that he's supporting it either. I'm saying
that what I'm saying, it doesn't faze me. But do I like that he's making fun of Muslims? No. I mean, at the end of the day, I wouldn't go, "Hey, go ahead and make more jokes about Muslims. That's funny, haha." No, I mean, but I'm not offended by it, right? Like,
and if you don't like it, don't listen to it. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. If he's not your cup of tea, he's not unavoidable. He's not a public figure that is on TV in every public space there is. He's a little known comedian, and people who enjoy that kind of comedy, they go and they attend his stand up.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with the bigger issue is that people miss, and we do this every time, over and over again, as a Muslim community. We take these little Joe Schmo nobodies, give them this platform, blow them up, and then now other people follow the same lead. And they get it for clout, like the guys who, Charlie Hebdo, that Terry guy, Pastor Terry, the innocence of Muslims and all that stuff, right? All that stuff. These were pretty much very small people, and then we made it a big deal on the internet. And now these people get more attention, and more people like them feel like, "Hey, if I want to get a bunch of views and make the media headlines, let me just make a joke about Christchurch, and boom, I'm gonna get famous." Right, and I feel like, why do we make such a big deal out of that?
Are you able to? I think, do people even know what we're talking about, like in the stream?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I can do it. I can do that. Hold on, you guys.
I was wondering if you wanted to play that.
Yeah. I'll do it. You guys keep talking about it. So, just continue on.
I don't know. Did we sway you at all, or do you see what we're talking about? In regards to
my main issue is just like belittling those who've gone through those families, and also I guess like we're actually responsible for making a big issue because all the Muslims kept sharing it, which is like we were responsible for it going making it such a big deal. You get what I mean? So
exactly.
Like, we could have just kept it undercover. Just feel like if you don't like the guy, just avoid him, and because he goes down this route with his comedy and
I like that.
Kill himself, but. You know what I mean? But we made it a big issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way I feel like it. Yeah, and that's kind of my point, Tenzin, that we made him a big star. Like he's gotten all these clout.
I think because he probably did it for that. Like
maybe he did.
No, right? I think it was a few months ago when he made that joke, and I think that was he said many other things related to other tragedies in the past, and this just happened to be picked up by a few Muslims that were able to, make it go viral. So I'm not sure if it deserves the kind of attention that it's getting. It's just he's not that type of person. He doesn't seem like he's an anti-Muslim Islamophobe. He actually seems like a nice guy who enjoys a certain brand of comedy that we may not necessarily agree with, and we have to be okay with that because that's the kind of the contract we signed when we live in this country. It's as long as you don't create or cause language that is harmful to people, you don't yell fire in a theater, you pretty much have language that says anything you want, as long as it doesn't hurt people or cause public disruption, then you're okay with it. And I think unless this kind of language creates a riot somewhere in downtown Melbourne, you can't do anything about it but to allow it, and you can't stop it
anyway. So it's
unlocked. Yeah, how's the whole COVID situation over there?
Like Sydney, alhamdulillah, it's getting a bit better, but it might get worse over the few weeks. But I'm not too sure. But Melbourne's like terrible situation. Like everyone's got to wear
They're getting
masks
like
and you get
200 a
fined.
day or something like that.
Yeah, something like I think they have authorities come to your house to check if you're at home, and if you're not at home, they'll fine you. Like I think they're gonna pass laws like that.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's not even that. Like once they, because the people that are like actually like going out of the suburbs into like holiday mode, so they're actually not in the house where they're meant to be. So yeah, it's a bit messed up in Melbourne. Alhamdulillah, I don't live in Melbourne, so it's all right.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I mean, the thing is, I was thinking about this right now that people are saying, oh, when COVID comes to America, they're gonna do a police state, new order, global order, and Americans don't even get checked in their house for this stuff. And other countries doing this stuff, and we're like, oh man, well, you guys are fearing for us, it's happening to you guys. Like, it's just kind of weird for me. Like, it's just, I don't know. But this is how I believe it. I mean, I still think that no matter what, every other country in the world right now is handling COVID better than America. Let's just put it that way. I just think that, like Americans are pretty stupid about this. Like they're worried about getting the roots of their hair dyed in the middle of a pandemic, and that's why they don't want to wear a mask. And like, I don't understand. Like, Mahin was telling me that like their children are going to go to school now, right? And like they literally just said in a Georgia school district, 250 staff members of the same school were tested positive for COVID, and these dumb people still want to go ahead. These dumbasses want to go ahead and put their kids in school. Like, I don't get it. Like, it's completely stupid to me. Like, I think in America, everything is a battle. Like, everything is politicized. Like, it's always between right and left. It's never like, hey, what's good for the country? I feel like in other parts of the world, when in times of crisis, the countries come together. Like the country.
Do you all have like people where they have COVID? Like I know America is that bad. Like someone knows I don't know, people know.
I don't know anyone.
I know of two people that I know. They have COVID, but they got it in different country. But but not anyone personally with me around here. But to be fair, Chicago is pretty good about COVID, meaning that
Illinois,
mask, they social distance, they shut things down. They're not like Arizona.
It's Illinois is doing better than most of the country. I think if you went into other states, you would find a lot more people who know someone, but I don't know of anyone who knows.
I mean, we know the imam that died in.
What's your take on the BLM? You know the BLM protests, and then COVID was happening at the same time. Have you seen like heightened cases from that because of that? Like how crazy was it?
That's kind of made me funny to think about it because it's funny because people went to a Trump rally and they got COVID, but then you have a bunch of protesters who didn't get COVID. So it's kind of like weird to me, like
but it's outdoors.
It's right, Barca from the BLM.
Yeah, exactly. and then I think also BLM, their part of the uniform is to wear like a face mask, right? Like that's the whole thing, like Antifa. So maybe they're kind of like protecting themselves in that regard, anyways. But yeah,
people are in close proximity and already like protesting. Like, what's the matter with going in the shop? That's the main issue, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think even if you're in close proximity, that if you're covering your mask, your face, and you're not touching, like you're actually using hand sanitizer, you could potentially still be okay. I think the idea is like breathing and coughing on people, like that kind of stuff is what really spreads it, more so than just maintaining your distance, right? Like, so I mean, I'm sure people have gotten it, but it's probably nowhere near the amount that people have gotten at the Trump rallies. Like, I mean, they're saying that, they're saying Herman Cain got it at the Trump rally did you hear about that, Mahi, in Oklahoma? They say he got it.
The Cain train came to an end.
Yeah, the 999 went down. But the thing is that, but see, that's what I'm trying to say, Mahi. You just made a joke about somebody dying. Would people find that to be offensive? Of course they would, right?
Yeah,
we just did that, right? And like, it's so common for us to set it up for shock value.
Yeah, but for a Republican, it's okay.
Oh, exactly. And I'm offended. I'm a Republican. I'm offended by that. You offended my team. Mahin's a Republican too. He's voting for Trump. Mahin, didn't you tell me you spoke to a certain a sheikh that all of us kind of know, and he's gonna be voting for Trump?
Yep.
Like he's like totally like if we told you who it was, you'd be shocked. Like he's like, oh my god. But he's like a traditional Orthodox Sufi Maliki, like straight up like as Orthodox as you could be. and he's going for Trump, and I was shocked when I heard that. But don't offend him, Sim, because you won't get barakah then. So you're offending his camp. because
Are
Republicans.
you guys enjoying COVID?
I love it.
Like,
I think
I'm enjoying it.
I mean, I don't get to see people like who I don't want to see. I don't have to stand next to people I don't like. The bars are closed. The strip clubs are closed. I get to order everything online. I get to work from home. It's great. I mean, I love
Even
it.
for me, like uni's online, all online. So I'm just in my room all day, just gonna get my stuff done, and I can get like it's time. I'm saving so much time from my end as well. I'm seeing my sister like every time she comes home, and it's just so convenient for me. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone has a certain thing, a certain feeling about that. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think some people are getting homesick, right? They're getting cabin fever. You know what I mean? Like they're getting tired of being at home, right? They just want to get out. Like, I mean, me, one thing I miss about it is taking a vacation. Like, I actually legit want to take a vacation. I usually do one at least once a year, and I couldn't because of this thing.
I got my vacation out before COVID hit this year, so
yeah, lucky you.
I was hoping to go to Istanbul though in December. I was trying to Hijra. Seriously though.
Yeah. Well, let's do this. I think I probably gotta wrap up soon. So why don't we just do your final comments, Mahin and Tanzim, and we'll just close this one out.
Hey, StreamYard's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, because the thing is, he's able to. He's streaming on Facebook too, right?
And Periscope.
So you can go 3 platforms. Well, you could also do something where the other day he was streaming on Sultans and Sneakers and Muzzy Buzz.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, wait, are you guys doing a different show at the same time? I'm like, this is
no, it was the exact same show, just like you're getting different, like like collaboration.
Yeah.
Even though right now I think our audience are still very similar.
Yeah, I don't know why, because I mean I'm a total douchebag, and you're like the nice dude who empathizes with all the liberal groups.
Hey, I wanted to quickly chat about because you guys were talking earlier about Muslim podcasts and stuff. That's why I wanted to hop on as well.
Yeah, go ahead. You can close it out with that. I mean, unless Mahi wants to make some other comments, we'll give you final comments. And you can
Tanza, what you got?
No, because I made a comment on your thread. Like, I have so many messages. Like, even like literally one yesterday. I think like people want to start a podcast, but all the ones that I actually full wrote a response and told them what to do, none of them have ever started it. A few of them that I told them like a year ago that hasn't even started. They're like full like hyping it up to I'm gonna get cameras and this and that, and you don't hear anything from them. So I think a lot of people just all talk. They think I don't know the purpose. They just see it looks cool. I just want to jump on it. They don't kind of have the why set out. Like they're just kind of going with whatever everyone else is maybe doing at times and just kind of doing it, and then just like, oh crap, this actually is like a lot of work. I was talking to a student of knowledge, and he was like, oh, you just guys record an episode and post it, right? I'm like, dude, there's so much like groundwork got to be done. Like most of the time it's probably like getting the guests, right? It took me some guests like a whole year to get on, you know what I mean? So it's like there's so much more effort behind the scenes you don't really think about until you actually do it, right? Especially with marketing and stuff.
I think the other thing is that so that's more evidence that you gotta start charging for advice, like no free advice.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I was talking about Joe Bradford. So Joe, if anybody needs Islamic financial advice, if you want Sharia like that kind of stuff, Joe, well, you can pay Joe to do it. He's got this thing called Clarity, which I'm probably going to set myself up as well as like for podcast advice. So you can charge by the minute. Because what happened was that Joe was giving out all this free advice to people, and it was just like overwhelming. It's like becomes like people just take advantage of you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're not serious and they're just wasting your time. And that's what you realize is that like the more your time becomes valuable, it's a commodity in a way. Because you put into work to learn it. Now some cat wants to just freeload off you, and they're gonna be like, "Fisabilillah." I'm like, "Yo, bro, you gotta pay me, dude. I don't care." You know what I'm saying? So like that's how I am. Like sometimes someone might catch me in a good time. Like I'm driving like to Ohio in 6 hours, so I'll be like, "All right, we can talk, right?" But in general, still got a lot. Obviously, I always say you're the only example of the podcast that Sim advised that actually like was worth anything. Like you guys kept going. Everybody else, there's one guy, he did like a pilot episode and he didn't really launch. One guy did like 5 episodes and then like quit. And 17 did nothing. literally they just like wasted his time.
Right.
And to be fair, like I probably was the guy that like was gonna. I always had idea of starting a podcast in the past, and I'd be like asking about it, be interested in it. I never started, so I think that was the timing with the Mad Mamluks. Is that like when I got involved with Mad Mamluks, I was able to get my feet wet and then learn the technical side later. Mm-hmm. So that helped for me at least. It wasn't because it is overwhelming. Like I think sometimes from the get go, like if I had started a podcast from scratch like 5 years ago, somebody told me, I don't know what I would do.
Right.
I don't think I had the idea for it. Right?
I don't even think you would have thought about doing it because people were like, I mean, oh, why would you do it? You wouldn't even. I don't think you even knew that you had a voice for podcasting.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, it was like when Sim told me, like I was like, he's like, oh, this guy has a voice for podcasting. I was like, oh, okay, what does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I still don't know what that means. I still do not know what that means.
Yeah. And then, yeah. But anyways, it's good stuff. I mean, I think we're gonna wind this one down. It's been an hour and a half. I didn't expect to go I didn't know we were gonna go this long, but it was awesome. So everybody who's watching, just make sure you subscribe. Make sure you get to the Boys in the Cave, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for them. Sultans and Sneakers, the Mad Mamluks, of course, and of course my channel.
Thanks for letting me on last minute.
Yeah, you gotta pay me though. We're not done. You gotta pay me at the end. I'm gonna send you my PayPal.
Pay you in dua,
inshallah.
Lot of
Yeah.
dua.
Yeah, inshallah. Yeah, but awesome. So let me know what you guys think in the comment down below. This is a random stream, so don't get mad at me if I didn't tell you because I didn't announce it to anybody. I just did it. And I plan to do more of them, but my regular stream is gonna be on Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if you want to be notified of this stuff, make sure you hit the bell because I'm not going to tell you guys. I'm just going to go live. So make sure you guys, if you're dedicated and you love it, then you got to hit the bell. All right. So it's a wrap. Inshallah, we'll talk to you guys later. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.